Well, good afternoon, boys and girls. This is Don with Adventures of the Broken Retired. Thank you very much for being here. I got to go to Baton Rouge today, so I thought, you know what? Why not take a few friends along with me? It's going to take a couple minutes to get there. I'm going to go downtown. Not 100% sure where I'm going to stop yet, but I figured we could have a little fun, ride around, take a look, see what's there. Anyhow, y'all sit tight. We're going to go. We're going to get off at College and probably take a ride down Capitol Heights. It's kind of an eclectic area. It's nice. Shut the camera off till we get a little closer. Oh, the beauty of editing. I can take out where I took the wrong turn. Oops. You know, they do a lot of construction around here. Sometimes things change pretty quick, and I hadn't been down here in a little while. So I didn't realize the lane that I got in was a turn only with a curb, where I couldn't sneak out of it. And I ended up having to take a right when I didn't want to. This is College Drive, heading away from the college, by the way. We're going to take a left up here in just a minute. I don't remember the name of the street now. Anyway, then we'll take a left onto Capitol Heights and go ride through a cool little neighborhood. Let's get a little closer. Old houses, a lot of them, people spend a lot of time fixing up their yards. It's like I said, it's a real eclectic neighborhood. This whole place, at one time, I don't know, 20-something years ago maybe, I think, I don't remember now, as far as I've been told, this whole place was basically slated for disaster, slated for ruin. And there's a guy, I don't know what his name is, but he said, "Oh, no, we're going to fix this." And he had meetings with the city, and he had meetings with builders, and he had meetings with people that like to have meetings, and transformed it into what you see now. This is becoming gentrified. Some of these houses are worth, well, they're all worth a lot of money because they're in Capitol Heights. And this place was basically slated for destruction. So it's good things people got together to save it. You know, there's a lot of real smart people in the world, real smart people around. And they've put rules and standards in place, and it's worked out very well. Anyhow, that's enough of this just for the minute. Let's get down into Baton Rouge. This is Government Street. It heads right down into downtown. It's going to go through part of the artsy, and then part of the, we're going to call it less kept part of town. LSU's playing tonight, so I'm not sure what we're going to run into traffic-wise. But this is the kind of artsy section. A lot of businesses come and go down here. Might have to make a quick stop up here on the right. In fact, I think we will. Let's make a right turn right here. I want to show you something. Hang on a minute, y'all. All right, y'all, there's actually several. This is the schoolyard property in front of the school. That's Government Street you're seeing out there. The street we were just on. There's several reasons I'm stopping here. One, and probably most importantly, is this is Amy's alma mater. This is where Amy went to high school. It is now Baton Rouge Magnet High. Back then it was just called Baton Rouge High. It's a beautiful place. I don't know how much of it we're going to be able to see in the camera frame here. Let's try. Let's try this. Sit tight a minute. And there it is. Baton Rouge High. Been here a long time. Now there's another reason I'm here too. And that is because that is a big building. Would you agree? That's a huge place. And what I want you to keep in mind, anytime you ever see a building that's this big, any building of any size that's made of brick, keep in mind that every single brick you see was laid by a man's hand. There's probably millions of bricks in this building. And each one of those bricks, every single one, was carried up a scaffold and set in place by a man's hand. These oak trees, they're called live oaks, native to the area. They're beautiful. The temperature difference when you get underneath them is pretty incredible, probably 10 degrees difference. And they're just absolutely beautiful to look at. And each brick laid by a man's hand, one at a time. I find that incredible. All right, here we go, continuing on into Baton Rouge on Government Street. I'm not sure how well you can see down the sides. This is Old Baton Rouge, or the outer edges of Old Baton Rouge. A lot of very interesting architecture, a lot of very old buildings. A lot of things around here have been here a long time. There's a bunch of places of interest around here that I'd like to go to. Today, I've just got a couple in mind. Mostly because it's hot and I don't feel like walking real far. Go down by the Centroplex and see if we can go sit by the river for a minute. To do which we have to drive right through the middle of downtown. So, let's see about it. Alright, you're officially in. I guess officially in downtown. It's funny, for as flat as this whole place is, downtown's all kind of hilly. I realize it ain't hilly like it is probably where you come from, but for us, this is hilly. You know, the highest point in the state of Louisiana, highest point in the state, is 535 feet above sea level. The house that Amy and I live in is at 50 feet, I think, or 51 feet above sea level. Centralplex there, or the River Center they call it now. They change the name every few years. Somebody buys it and puts their name all over it and changes what it's called. There's a Veterans Museum. There's a lot of nice stuff down here, really. A lot of very interesting things to look at. Parking is almost impossible. Did I speak too soon? I hope so. I'm shocked. Alright, let's get out and take a look around. What do you say? If you look way down there, see those, you might be able to see those people standing up on top of that bridge. Kind of underneath them, a little bit to their right. You see the benches and the street lights up on that grass hill. That's the levee for the Mississippi. These railroad tracks right here, by the way, are active. There are quite a few trains that come through here. I have no idea where they're going. The world's second largest Exxon plant is not far from here. It's the Veterans Memorial Plaza. You got an airplane that's, I'm sure it looks a lot bigger in person than it does on the screen. I don't know what it is. Aviation expert I am not. But it does kind of look like I would rather not have French fries with that. Anyway, that's the levee for the Mississippi. Let's go for a walk. It's the back side of the River Center. And this down here is usually a running water feature. It's pretty big. I don't know exactly why they're not running, but they're not. That's some more of the water feature. Usually it's crystal clear blue water running down over those boards and heading all over the place. That castle looking thing way in the back is the old state capitol. That's a fine place. We're going to go there one day. And that right there, the dome roof, is another museum. Let's continue up the steps. Well, it's pretty windy over here, so you're probably getting some mic interference. Not much I can do about that, unfortunately. That's the bridge. We were where those big cranes are and that big dome is where we were yesterday. Underneath it on that end. One of the reasons I wanted to come here was because there's a battleship, USS Kidd, that they keep down here, and you can tour it, you can go through it. And I haven't been down here in quite some time, but I see right there, that's where the battleship used to be. I have no idea where it is. You can actually walk down those steps of water. It's pretty low. You can actually walk down the steps and go right down to the water. I ain't doing that. Too fat, old, and lazy. That building right there is it used to be a riverboat casino. Now it's just a casino on a barge. Land-based casinos are illegal. So they stick it on a barge and hook it to the shore, and there it is. They also have, if you could see, way up there, there's a riverboat, which is a casino. And if you look real hard between those two upright posts, you can see part of the old bridge across the Mississippi that the sun is shining on, that silver bunch of girders up there. This is obviously it's the Mississippi, so it's a lot of heavy river traffic, as you can see coming into the picture there. I can't see how to zoom this camera. I'm not familiar enough with it to be able to zoom, sorry. But you can see the barges coming down river, and over there docked up there's a pretty big boat. I don't know what it carries. It's probably fuel, oil of some sort. If I recall correctly, there used to be a casino hooked up right there too. Now there's a tugboat sitting there, so I'm not sure what's going on. But this is there's a really nice breeze coming off that water. I'll tell you what, it feels good. I'm not in a whole lot of rush to move away from this spot, I'll promise you. Can't believe how low the water is. I guess this time of year it is. Maybe come back in the springtime, maybe it'll be higher. I've seen it a couple feet from the top. So what shall we do now? Sit tight, I'll figure it out. Here's looking up the river from the top of the walk bridge that goes over the tracks. See the riverboat casino up there, if you can see that far. Pretty view. The wind is probably screwing with the microphone. Sorry about that. Here's the I'm pretty sure that's an aerospace museum. Maybe it's a museum of natural history. River Center. There's that jet. That's where we were a while ago. If you can see that jet. And there's the old state capitol. I'm watching where I'm walking down the stairs, not the screen. You know, the city spends a lot of money trying to make it nice for people to come down here and just relax and hang out. But there always has to be that element of people who, I guess they have to have fun their own way. And as you can see, that's what's been going on here, I guess. Give some people $10 and a little darkness, and that's what you get. There's some more of what's called the riverfront in Baton Rouge. That's the new state capitol peeking through over there with the pointy top. That old state capitol, they had to have some good events there. Halloween comes, spirits at the old state capitol. It's good. Very good. Alright. I'm gonna head back towards the truck, see where else we can find trouble. Alright, boys and girls, let's see what other trouble we can get into. North Boulevard. Let's go up there. I'm guessing I can ride on red. Get rid of some of that background noise. Not real familiar with this part of town. It's not bad driving around here when there isn't a bunch of traffic. But boy, when there's a lot of traffic, it's tough. Let's speed the process up just a little bit. What do you say? Well, we'll go one more block. Springtime. When everything's just turning green. It's really nice down here. Really nice. It's funny because this is called, I don't know, this is North Street or North Boulevard. This is North Boulevard. Should have known there's a boulevard in the middle of it. 2 blocks over there's a North Street, which makes things very confusing. Nice part of town, I think. All right. Nice part of town comes to an end here pretty much after you pass under the interstate. Pretty much. Still not so bad right here. Gets a little rough up here in just a minute. Well, I hope you like going for a ride. I like going for a ride. It was a lot more fun when I was a kid and gas was 30 cents a gallon, but it is what it is. Cemetery there on the corner, completely overgrown. I think that's called something to do with Olive Cemetery. They had a big thing on the news a few years back about some folks went in there and cleaned all that up. Looks like they could do it again. I don't know if you can even see it in the picture. Isn't sitting at traffic lights fun? Mount Olive Cemetery, maybe they call it. Sit tight a minute. Remind me to tell you the story about Amy getting rear-ended right here, and a few stories about Phil Brady's. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get into where I want to go. Might not be able to make it. It's on the left side. You might not be able to make a left. Man, there's nobody down here. This place is just empty. It's a Saturday afternoon. Let's see if it can be done. Nope, it's fenced off. Oh well. Alright, boys and girls, I hate to do this to you, but I've got to put in an edit interruption right here. You need to explain what went on. Otherwise, some of the stuff I say in the video won't make any sense. So I pulled up into the Baton Rouge Garden Center, which is a public place. It has botanical gardens. It's a nice place. I went over there with Amy a couple of years ago, and it was just absolutely beautiful. I mean, it was absolutely beautiful, and it smelled so good. And they had a building there where they had displays inside, and we had a wonderful afternoon. So I figured, hey, good opportunity to go, right? So I pull up in the parking lot, and I parked right in front of the doors. There was a parking spot right there in front of the doors. And there was an event going on inside the building, so I couldn't go inside, which was perfectly fine. I didn't even blink. But there was a sign out front that I thought was funny, and there was the sign on the side of the building where it said Baton Rouge Garden Center, where I thought, you know, I'll do that. So there was a couple ladies that were walking into the building, and I politely stood out of the way and waited for them to go by. And then I turned on my camera, and I videoed from a pretty good distance, 15 feet away, maybe more. I videoed a picture of the sign that was advertising their event and the sign on the side of the building. Well, as I was doing that, a woman stuck her head out. What? Elmer is interrupting me. He's got something to say. Hang on a second. Elmer says he thinks they got nuclear secrets in there. How do I end up with a remote that acts like this? Elmer, I really don't think it's nuclear secrets. Anyway, as I was standing there, I was recording the sign advertising their event and the sign on the side of the building. Some woman stuck her head out the door. And she very politely said to me, "How are you? And do you need anything?" And I said, "Oh, I'm doing fine. I don't need anything. Thank you very much." She said, "Okay." She closed the door and went back inside. I came around. I ended up having to change the battery in the camera, which you'll see. And I started walking back towards the botanical gardens. There was a pickup truck sitting there with some guy with the doors open, some guy playing music, which was fine, only I can't put that on the video. It's copyright. So I turned off the camera for that. And I went a little further, and I turned the camera back on, and I hear somebody hollering at me. And I turned the camera back off, and it's a security guard. And the security guard wants to know what I was doing up there in front of the building, what I was taking recordings of, and why I was. And it's like, first of all, it's a public place. Second of all, I mean, I was there for a couple minutes at the most. And if they wanted to know what I was doing, all they had to do was ask. But I took that, I had to take that out of the video. I had to take the picture, the video of her sticking her head out the door and talk to me. I figured it's best if I just take that out. Hopefully I took out the sign where it was advertising their event, trying to keep things clean and simple. And then I can go back into the video. As soon as this edit is done, I can go back into the video. But without this little piece here that I'm doing, there's some things in the video that I'll say that you won't understand what they mean, right? So, anyway, let's continue on. Well, I came to the Baton Rouge Garden Center. Figured why not? And you know what? I'm down to 25% battery. I'm gonna do something I've never had to do before. I'm gonna change my GoPro battery. Sit tight. Alright, back to 100%. I wonder if it changed my settings. This is the Baton Rouge Botanical Gardens. And I've got to stop the camera right here because there's somebody playing music and I'll get a strike. Now, how about that, boys and girls? The people in the building complained about me and called security. I just had to shut off my camera and go talk to the security guard and explain what I was doing. I don't know why she just didn't ask me. Kind of makes it spoil the fun of being here. Not a whole lot going on. Looks kind of dead and dry, don't it? Last time I came here, it was beautiful. Huh. Ain't that something? Let's walk down to the shade. I guess moo-moos and mimosas don't like cameras. Not really a whole lot going on here, is there? Well, isn't that something? Those people complained about me. How long was I there? And there's people over there, so I ain't going over there. Alright, well, I guess it's back to the truck. Now, I'm not going to turn the camera around and show this because I really don't need the problems. But when I came back up here to get in the truck to leave, two of the people that were in that building came outside and they're just standing there watching me, acting like they're talking on their phones, making sure of what I'm doing. which I find to be pretty interesting. And I can explain to you exactly what I'm doing. I'm sitting in my truck recording myself leaving. However, I am pretty tempted to stay a while just to see how long I can make that woman stand outside and look at me. I mean, for God's sakes, first of all, this is a public place, and second of all, what does she think I'm gonna do? Absolutely incredible. This is a nice neighborhood. I really like it. Well, like I was saying earlier, I hope you like riding around. I do. Alright, there's Fairway, fixing to get on the interstate and head back to the house. Y'all sit tight. Alright, getting back on the interstate. What do you say we take a speedy ride home?